And so today, I think the most perfect thing that I could talk about is the idea of rebirth. The idea of coming forth into the planet and rebirthing ourselves. I think about what does it mean to rebirth? And I thought about that as this morning when I was in meditation. It was like last night, right before I went to sleep. There was a moment. I was awake, I was conscious, and then in the next moment, I was not there. I was gone. And then it wasn't until I woke up in the morning that I was back. I had rebirthed myself. And when I rebirthed myself, I realized in that moment, now is the time that I get to create anew. So today, what I want to talk about is this idea that now is the time for rebirth. And the key thing is that I want you to understand is that now is all that really exists. There is nothing other than this moment. The past is an illusion. The future is a projection. Think about it. Last night, right before you went to bed, that thought, that feeling at that time was all there was. And then it disappeared while you slept. And then when you woke up this morning and you reattached to your mind and your body, there was that moment, that now. And in that moment, when you woke up, when you rebirthed yourself this morning, your slate, the camera on which you were looking at life through, saw nothing but this perfect blank screen, a canvas that you get to create your life on. So rebirth is simply the process of transforming our consciousness. Did you get that? That's all rebirth is. It's transforming our consciousness. So let me make that a little simpler. Consciousness is simply the level of our awareness. What are you aware of? Are you aware of just that do you believe that you're just your body? Do you believe that you're just your mind? Or do you believe that you're something even greater than your mind and your body? You see, when that awareness raises up and you understand and know that the body and the mind are just expressions based on how aware you are, then the focus of your life becomes being more consciously aware. That's why at Agape we talk about this all the time, that we teach how to better self-love through conscious living. Conscious living means awakening our awareness to the greater us that we cannot even imagine. But as we awaken step by step, that awareness becomes greater and greater and greater. So it's our journey in life is to awaken our level of awareness. So if you could rebirth yourself, if you had the opportunity, if you knew you could rebirth yourself, what would you do differently? Who would you be? And today, that's what I want to spend some time on. I want to spend some time on creating the new you. And what would that new you look like? What would that new you be? And so the ideas I've got, I'm going to start off with the first idea is to eliminate self-judgment and judgment of others. So if you could create the new you and you could eliminate self-judgment and the judgment of others, would you not be self-loving? Would you not be loving of others? Understanding that judgment is the opposite of love? And what a great way to start your new rebirth, your new life, than to be in self-love. And from that self-love, allow others that same right and to treat them exactly the same way. That newborn baby coming out, when it feels its mother's chest, when it's put on its mother's chest, it knows only love. It doesn't know anything but that. That's the feeling we're seeking to have as we rebirth. A connection to ourselves, to others, and to life. And when you're creating this new you, wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be great if you decided to be present in every moment? And think about that. If you're fully present in every moment, you're no longer bound by the past because the past cannot exist in the present moment. You're no longer bound by the fear of the future because the future can't live in the present moment. And if you really study this and understand, take time to reflect and meditate, you will come to the understanding that all there is now. All the discomfort comes from bringing the past forward or projecting the future into the now. That's where all the discomfort comes from. But in the now, it's all good. I think the next thing I'd want to ask you to look at is, do you know who you are? And do you know what's truly important to you? Most of the time, I think we have just blindly accepted what our parents have taught us, what schools have taught us, what religions have taught us, what media has taught us, what books have taught us. We've never sat down and figured that out. I know I didn't really understand it until 6 or 7 years ago when I did the values experience with John DeMartini. And I understood the hierarchy of my values, and from that my purpose came out. And from that I understood what was important to me, and now I live to that purpose. To the best of my ability. I do fall back. I'm human. I sometimes regress. We all do, but we've got to just, once we do that, rebirth into the next elevation of yourself. You see, rebirthing is not something you do once. Rebirthing is something you can do in each and every moment. But if you don't know who you are, so in this time of social confinement or shelter in place right now, notice what you're noticing. What are you enjoying about being in shelter in place? Are you enjoying that you're not as busy? Are you enjoying what you're doing being not as busy? What are you not missing from the life before shelter in place? What are you missing from shelter in place? Then ask the question as you go through that, does that support my highest values? Does that support who I am? And you see, this is the perfect time to get clarity on who do you want to come out of this being. Because who you come out of this being is who you become and what you attract. And once you get that down, here's the next most important thing I want you to consider. Be authentic. Be the real you. Stop trying to be what others want you to be. You were not brought here to please anyone. You were brought here to be the unique, creative, individualized expression of love. That's who you are. Step into that man. Step into that woman. And allow you to come forth and create the greater you and to show yourself. Don't hide from yourself. Don't hide from the world. Let you be present. Let your light shine today. And you know, once you become authentic, then I think the thing to consider is, how can I communicate more clearly? How can I communicate my yeses so they're easily understood? How can I communicate my no's so people understand more clearly what my yeses are? You see, what you say no to is also what you're saying yes to. You just have to consider that. When you tell someone, no, I'm not going to do that, you're also telling them, yes, this is what I'll do. It's not what they're asking for. But you're really clearly communicating. And then remember this. If you're creating a new way of being, remember as you communicate with people, give them the background so they better understand. Don't make assumptions that people know where you're coming from. Because they don't. You've got to give them enough to feed off of. I would say once you've communicated clearly, what about if you were a little kinder? What if you created a kinder Lee, a kinder Elaine, a kinder Bob, a kinder Robin, a kinder Jean, a kinder Charles, a kinder Candace, a kinder Stephen? What would that be like in your world if you were kinder? If you're in shelter in place and there are people in your home and you're finding it getting stressful, what would happen if you were kinder with them? Would the stress disappear? Would the stress disappear when you go back to work in an office? I don't know. I think the next item I want to ask you to do is make conscious choices. Don't just react. Make a conscious choice that this is better serving me. This is in alignment with my values. Don't let the automated unconscious choosing run your life. Break that habit. Choose love. Choose peace. Choose joy. Choose abundance. Choose life. You see, when you make that choice, expansion is what you're seeking. And when you're expanding, there is no greater joy or connection with all that is. We're here to expand. We're here to grow. And as you're making those conscious choices, the key thing to remember is don't just do it because you did it before. Question everything. Question everything and decide, is this right for me? And while you're questioning, what if you made it a practice that every day you were going to learn something new? In some area of life, you were going to learn something new. Think about how compounding that day after day after day after day, the growth that you will have, the expansion that you will have, the value that you bring to the world. Wouldn't that be great? And you don't have to grow or to learn in ways others learn. You can find your own unique fields that juice you. What is it that turns you on that you can't wait to learn about? That's a great question. And as you're doing all this, what if you no longer cared what other people thought? Can you even imagine that? Can you imagine letting go of what your mother thinks of you? Can you imagine letting go of pleasing your father? Can you imagine letting go of worrying about if your life partner cares what you say or how you say it? Can you let go that you're not here to totally support and please your children? For me, can I let go to not care what people think of me as a minister, but to be authentically? Because if I'm not authentic, it doesn't matter what I say. Image, it's nice, but it's not what's important. What is said is that your action speaks so loudly, I cannot hear a word you're saying. When you're speaking your actions and you're truthful, you truly don't care what others think because you're living to your highest values, and that's what's meaningful importance. The next thing I would ask you to do is as you start to become more aware and you start to become more conscious, I invite you to start seeing how life is in balance. Because it always is. Life is always in balance. The yin and the yang, the black and the white, the good and the bad. There's always balance. There's always as much challenge as there is support. And when you can get to that, when you can get to see life in balance, then the past has no pull on you. Bringing life into balance is the best way to forgive. It's the best way to let go. Because when there's balance, there's no emotional charge. Do you get that? In balance, there's perfect equanimity. And in perfect equanimity, there's perfect peace. When there's perfect peace, you're seeing through the eyes of the divine. Nothing is better than that. Think if you could do that, if you could be that man or that woman that saw the balance. If you saw the balance, guess what? We go back to number one, and we've eliminated self-judgment, and we've eliminated the judgment of others. Because in balance, again, there is no judgment. So as you start in creating new ways of being, I would invite you to bring this one and consider this. Laugh and play more. I think we've gotten out of that natural childlike nature that we have of laughing joyfully. My son Stephen and I watched a movie last night and we laughed hysterically as we watched it. That's what it's about. Sharing moments of laughter, that's a great thing. That's a bond. There's nothing better than when your cheeks get real big and that glows on you. You can't fake laughter. People know when you're happy. They really know. And you know what? When you're happy, you play more. I can use my granddaughter Claire as an example. That little girl, when she's playing, she is happy. And you know what I found out? When I'm playing with her, I'm the happiest. Focus then on what you love. What is it that you really love? And bring your focus and try to dedicate yourself to that focus. And when you focus on what you love, from there will emerge your life purpose. Because you'll be using your unique gifts. And your unique gifts are what the world is seeking. And you can use those gifts to bring abundance into your life in ways that you've yet to imagine. And the last item I'm going to bring into your consideration is this. What if you could be grateful for everything? Everything. Because if you could be grateful for everything, then you've locked down the idea of seeing balance. You've locked down the idea of being in self-love. You've locked down the idea of being present in every moment. You've locked down the ability to be clear on everything, to have clarity. You've locked down being kinder. You see, gratitude is the thing that binds everything together. But it's not gratitude for some aspects of life. It's gratitude for all aspects of life. So I've given you a bit of a roadmap here. Things for you to consider. Know that you can come back to this video anytime and find it on YouTube. And when you find it on YouTube, all these will be in a slide format so you can look at them and you can make them a course of study over the next couple weeks. Because remember this, to rebirth is a choice that only we can make. The question I ask you is this, so why not rebirth now? Because now is all we have. Let's make the best use of it.
I want to thank you for joining us today. I'm so grateful that you took your time to watch or listen to this message. If you found this message beneficial, I would ask that you go to our website, agapecsl.com. Once there, click on the donate button and experience the joy of conscious and purposeful giving. Or if you would like, text your gift by simply dialing 972-532-6976. It is through your gifts that we are able to bring this message to you in the world. I would ask that if you like this message, to please subscribe to my YouTube channel under my name, Lee Wolak. Again, I want to thank you for joining me in the Agape community as we learn how to better self-love through conscious living.